Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 replay cast. Should be a good one here. It's going to be a Terran versus Zerg on Cerulean Fall. I'm still not sure if I'm pronouncing that right or wrong. I'll probably figure out as the map is being removed from the ladder pool and I never have to say it again. But yeah, it's a Terran versus Zerg. It should be another good one from what I've heard. When it comes to looking for replays, I'll keep my ear out and say what's a very good replay cast, and this one was suggested to me. So it should be a very good one. And, I mean, you want to know who the players are, so spawning up in the top right-hand side of the map, he's on a barcode account. I actually cast a game with him before, so you might know who it is already. It's Stephano, the red Zerg, and he's actually going to be opening up with, I believe that was a 13 or a 14 pool. So, going to be going for a bit of aggression. And his opponent, spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map, playing for Team Wind and Rain, it is souL, the Polish Terran, who's one of the top Terrans in Europe, probably top 3, if I had to say. And he's going to be facing off versus Gamers Origin Stephano, who is going to be going for a bit of an aggressive build. We're going to see how this is going to play out. But since we do have time, Cerulean Fall is a very big map. I mean, Stephano had to go for a 13 pool, and this will probably hit around the time as a 16 pool. So he is committing, he commits a fair bit to this in order for it to sort of hit normally. He's really mind gaming his opponent because on a map this large, this isn't a common build. So as far as what the players are opting to do, I mean, souL just playing it standard so far from the looks of it. Standard Reaper Expand. Stephano going for the bit of early aggression. Now, I'll go into a bit about souL, as I figure he is a little bit lesser known of a player. I mean, pretty much everyone who's followed Starcraft for a while knows who Stephano is. I mean, I wasn't even around in the Starcraft 2 scene. I'll admit that I'm a bit of a newer face in the scene. I mean, I've been watching Starcraft for around 4 years at obsessive cult level. That's how long I've been in Starcraft 2. Since 2014, that's really when I got into it. So Stephano wasn't really in the scene at that time. He was, yeah, I believe he was just on his way out or he had already left. But here come in these lings. I'll get back into that later. souL trying to save that one SCV. It is being chased. Stephano really wants to get it. souL trying to do a bit of a fancy dodge there. Doesn't quite work out. And now lings are going to be pursuing this. souL wants to restart that command center building. It's very important. These lings will get cleaned up. But yeah, so souL is going to have that command center delayed a little bit longer than it really should have been. He should have started rebuilding it right away. And now he may hit a supply block because of it moving forward. But it looks like he is going to be moving it with his Marines here, which is a little bit odd on a map like this. I guess maybe he knows that Stephano will have a later speed and he's going to try and put some pressure on. Yeah, and he's actually bringing an SCV for a bunker. Now, I'm a big fan of move-outs like this, but whether it's actually going to get anything done is a different question. The Reaper's poking at... Okay, and I guess souL is going to be going for the bunker at the third, but it is going to be scouted here. Stephano knows. He saw the Marines with that Overlord there, and he saw them leave with this one here. So he definitely knew this is coming, but he's also making 4 lings. Now, souL has a single Hellion coming across the map to help out with this. He's fighting the Queens, but the fact that the Queens are out here, I mean, Marines and a Reaper can't really fight Queens. So souL is going to be forced off this. He's going to cancel the bunker. And the SCV, did the SCV survive there? Is he on his way back home? Yeah, he is. So everyone got out. He just put a bit of pressure on Stephano there, kept the aggression on. And I guess it's not the best opening to sort of go off on a tangent, as I'm going to pick up where I left off a minute ago before all that crazy stuff happened. I was saying that Stephano, he left the scene a while back, but he's in the scene now again. He's playing at a very high level. I mean, once you hit a high level in StarCraft 2, it's I'm not going to say easy, but it's definitely possible for you to stay at a very high level. Marines working away on that Overlord. And so basically what I was getting at was that Stephano, very popular player. On the other hand, souL, who's maybe around the level of Stephano, or I'd even say a little bit higher than Stephano in his current form, but he's still a lot less known. And that's because he hasn't had massive tournament results. He's not had, but I mean, he still is a very solid player. I'd argue he can take a series off pretty much any pro gamer if he's on point, because he is a very good player. And I've actually cast him in a fair few tournaments, some of them that I've organized. Africa World is one that's actually going to be coming up on Sunday, so make sure to check that out. Me going off on a random rant like this, you guys totally can't tell that we've got a bit of downtime until these guys really get at each other. That is sort of that's just the nature of a large map like this. It's hard for the players to, or it takes longer for the players to get at each other. There's the one Spore to defend against this Banshee. Banshee is going to micro around it a bit, but the Banshee did take a fair bit of damage already. There's a Spore at the natural, there's the Spore at the third. So souL not going to get too much done with this. He does have the Hellions, and he's poking and prodding. He's testing Stephano, and he did make 7 Hellions, so he committed to a fair few here. We'll see if he gets anything. I mean, the third base is relatively exposed right now. There's a lot of queens, so we'll see if any of these drones go down, but the Hellions are caught. souL's going to have to micro well, abusing the mineral line to the best of his ability right now. He's now running away, but the queen's putting out a lot of damage, so it looks like all these Hellions will go down, and the Banshee not finding too much. The Hellions not finding too much. I think Stephano lost he lost 5 drones there. My guess would have been off. I was guessing a little bit less, but yeah, I did lose a drone or 2 to the Banshee. 3 drones, as a matter of fact. 2 to the Hellions. And now there's actually another Banshee that's come on in, but there's so many queens for Stephano. In the last game I cast a Stephano, he played a crazy TvZ versus Mana recently on my channel. Check that out, and it's absolutely a bonkers game. But I went on another long tangent. Apparently I just go on those about Stephano, but he's a player who really likes his queens. Banshee for souL might get another drone. Yeah, gonna get a drone, then get out. Literally just ran out of energy, so it has to get out of there. But souL gonna keep both these Banshees alive on very low health, so getting out with those is very nice. Tries to get the creep tumor, but Stephano cancels it. So yeah, I was saying, Stephano is a player who likes to make a lot of queens. He's at 8 right now. I mean, he's only on 3 bases, so you guys do the math. Well, he's getting up a 4th now, so that's pretty important. He's also going for a macro hatchery, so Stephano is a guy who does like to play those later games. He likes to get into those comfortable situations, unless he's sort of forced to do otherwise. And souL, I mean, he went for... This game opened up not completely standard. He's now going for a double medivac drop, but Stephano should be ready to defend this. And then I think souL might have to play a bit of the late game here if he's going to face off versus Stephano, because it's very tough to push a Zerg on Cerulean Fall. And now Stephano going for a nice ling run by at the third base. souL's got a tank in position, but Stephano, I mean, that wall's not finished up. The 2 Banshees are here. Will help clean this up, but a tank may go down. A few more SCVs may fall as well. So this is very nice for Stephano. The double medivac drop, yeah, as I was saying, it's not going to get too much done. He may be able to get an overlord or something here, so he'll settle for that, but that's really a consolation prize at that point. souL has to resaturate his base, but okay, this is what I wanted to see from souL. A 4th base. Oh, what did I press? I pressed one of the buttons, guys. Okay, there we go. That's better, my apologies. But yeah, souL, he's one of those, or he realizes now in this game, that you have to go for the late game. It's not possible for you to kill Stephano in a situation like this. Stephano being relentless with the counterattacks, by the way. Really, I said he loves his queens, but he loves his lings too. Now, trying to push in, souL hasn't got that overlord just yet, but is going to be forced away there. Stephano keeping up with this creep spread. Very good with this creep spread. He's now getting into a Hydralisk den, but souL is getting up that 4th command center, which is important. It's really going to set him up for going into the later game, which he doesn't really have a choice but to go for. But on a map like Cerulean Fall, I might have said this before, but I mean, I don't mind Terran late game on a map like this. It's because as far as the bases go, Zerg will get harassed pretty much no matter what. If you're a Zerg player going late game, the other races, they will try and harass you no matter what because they don't want to let you sit back. Terran, on the other hand, Zergs like to look for openings to harass Terran, and Cerulean Fall doesn't have as many of those, and I'm saying that because it's a lot easier to defend on a map like this just if you look at it. If, for example, we look at the 4th base, there's ramps going up into it. It's harder to attack up ramps. The 5th base, there's ramps going down into it, so more and more choke points, this potential 6th, ramps, and then just even the other bases. There's a lot of ramps and a lot of defensive positions, so walling in for Terran's going to be an option. Setting up tanks will really help cover these bases, as opposed to some other maps in which the bases are much more exposed. So this is why I'm a fan for Terran going late game. If you're going to go late game versus Zerg, sort of go into Liberators and Ghosts, I think Cerulean Fall is the map to do it. I think it's also pretty good for nukes as well, because the bases are relatively spread out. There's a lot of sort of pathways for the units to go, cliffs to abuse. So, dare I say, I'd like to see souL go for nukes and things like that. Are we going to see it? I wouldn't hold my breath, but it's always a possibility. Now, souL is still trying to get harassment done. This is something that Terran has to do. You always got to be trying to deal damage to your opponent, deny creep if you can. Even just a tumor or two can make or break the game. I mean, maybe not so dramatic, but here comes in souL, going for some more harassment. Unfortunately, his Liberators are choosing a very dangerous path. Yeah, that one was shift queued up. Stephano was ready for that with his queens. More Liberators coming in, denying a bit of mining, but so far Stephano hasn't lost too many drones, particularly when compared to the SCVs of souL. Now, souL, though, he is macroing up. He did get up that 4th base. He's already starting a 5th. He's gotten up another factory, and he's getting up even more CCs, a lot of CCs. I mean, Terran does start to float minerals here as they decide what later unit composition they're going to go into, so why not make a bunch of command centers? Now, Stephano was getting the later hydras, doesn't really have too much anti-air just yet, so souL is allowed to jump back and forth right now, and he's doing a good job of that. Now, both these guys are macroing up, but souL's on 76 SCVs. He's keeping Stephano down, and I think Stephano really should try and squeeze out a few more drones right now, because 66, it's a very good economy, but it's not really a late-game economy. You need more, so I think Stephano either has to go for an attack relatively soon, or he does need to start investing in more tech. I mean, he got the hive, but we'll need to see an infestation. Well, he has an infestation pit because he has a hive, but maybe pathogen glands for the infester. Maybe we need to see more upgrades going down. We need to see an Ultralisk Cavern, a Spire, etc., etc. Because, I mean, Lingbane Hydra is good, but you don't want to stay on that forever, because eventually Terran will get better units than Lingbane Hydra with lots of Ghosts and Liberators. souL is keeping on the harassment for now, but so far, these guys really just keeping each other a little busy. souL's doing a good job, but now look at, we hear the scans going down. He's cleaning up creep, but he's getting up all these bases. I mean, and so he's getting rather set up here. I mean, those tanks were relatively exposed, but Stephano deciding not to go on them. souL really securing this base right now. So he's going to have a lot of orbital commands. He's getting up a lot of CCs. So, I mean, it's not your standard, like, I'm going to rush a quick natural or a quick 3rd base. This is souL being greedy, as, I mean, he's going up to 5 or 6 bases very quickly. Whereas Stephano, I mean, he's been macroing up, but not as quick as I think he could. souL's being a little bit more greedy, and that could work out for souL this game. Stephano not deciding to attack just yet, not going for anything like that. He is starting to build up a bank, so I would like to see more tech going down. Now, souL, he is securing a lot of these bases, though. There's the Ghost Academy, there's the Starports, there's the Fusion Core. The Liberators and Ghosts will be on the way. He's going to defend with these tanks for now, and that's very reasonable, as there is no Vipers out, there's no Swarm Host or anything like that. So I think souL's doing a good job this game. Right now, though, it has been relatively passive beside the odd drop. No one's decided to go for a killing blow, and these guys are actually getting pretty close, though. I mean, Stephano's creep is really getting close to souL's bases, so we could see a sudden engagement go down at some point, but here we go. Stephano has that hive. He's getting up a lot of upgrades. I mean, plus carapace, plus missile attacks, adrenal glands, melee attacks. So he's really going to be reaching that late game Zerg, but souL really is doing a good job making a beeline for that Terran tech. I wouldn't mind seeing another factory or two go up for souL. But Stephano, he has decided that, hey, I've got this Lingbane Hydra army. I should try and do something with it right now. He's not going to break this 5th base from the looks of it, although these tanks do get caught out, which is a pretty big deal. Tanks are expensive no matter how many bases you have. Looks like the sensor tower will go down, so Stephano getting a nice pick off. 2 tanks and a sensor tower. But so far, these guys are still sitting back. They're being passive. souL getting up another sensor tower. Look at this, guys. This is a sign that a Terran is comfortable in the macro game. Yeah, I may lose my other sensor tower, so I'm going to build another. Now, souL, though, I mean, he's got this base in the bottom right. He's building up more minerals. We'll see him building more and more command centers. But there we go. Some more barracks going up. And I believe, I like to think, well, he's going to have a lot of production here. I imagine we'll see some Ghosts coming out at some point, which is something that I think that's very important. Ling run by for Stephano. He's trying to get anything, but at this point, unless you're going for a big attack and Ling run bys or a lot of Ling run bys, you're really just gonna be trading minerals for minerals. You can hope for a good trade, but your opponent's gonna have a very good economy. So attacks like that aren't the biggest deal at this point in the game. Both players are both very well set up right now. A big Ling run by coming in for Stephano, though. He's going to be heading towards the natural. A good number of Marines intercept that. The third base is under fire, but Stephano is going to trade out a fair bit of these Lings, so not the most effective attack there. I mean, souL can afford to lose a few SCVs as he does eventually want those more meals. This Ling, though, that one, before it got gunned down, was going after a lot of SCVs. souL's going for some more medivac drops. He's lost a little bit in supply, but resources lost. These guys are even. Well, they were until that medivac died. With all that full medivac died. Now Stephano, he's making a lot more Ling Baneling, and I mean, he is just still on that Hydraling Bane. He's got 119 Zerglings, and he's gonna have a lot of Banelings soon as he's gonna be making more and more. Now souL's doing a good job sort of tempting Stephano here, but souL's just getting more and more setup. Okay, how many sensor towers are there? Let's see. There's 5 right now. So souL is getting very situated in the late game. He's comfortable, but I mean, he still just is. It's sort of weird. This is going into a late game, but souL's still just on Marine tank with a lot of bases. I mean, he's going into Liberators, but we haven't seen many ghosts or anything like that. So, but then the same as Stephano. Both these guys are just keeping each other busy with their low tech, neither of them investing in something else. I think it's because they're both waiting to be a little bit reactionary, dare I say. I mean, souL wants to sort of see what Stephano's going for, maybe before he trades off some more supply and commit. Now, souL may lose this planetary here, which would actually be a big deal. I mean, those are expensive, and Stephano will get it, so that's very nicely done for Stephano. Now, souL's moving north, maybe wanting to go for an attack, but his base is being ravaged here. He's got a bunker, but is losing a fair few SCVs. souL wants to put on the pressure, but I mean, he still just really does have a lot of Marines, and Marines not the best versus Lingbane Hydra. So I think Stephano getting a nice trade here, getting the base. Ultimately, I mean, souL's still on a perfectly fine economy. In fact, a pretty amazing economy. He's in no rush to mine out these bases as he's got a lot of options for now, but he is putting on the pressure. He's going to kill off this base for Stephano from the looks of it. I mean, these guys are both being so passive. They really want to see what the other is going to be doing. Stephano sticking with these Ling run-bys for now, being pretty ambitious there. Going to trade off a lot of Lings. Might get actually 3 siege tanks going down. These Liberators doing some work to clean up these Lings, but I mean, that was a lot of Lings there. Stephano does lose a base. Resources lost. These guys are very equal, though. And now, here we go. Stephano finally investing in some other tech, and this is really going to help him out. He's investing in 7 Vipers, so that's a lot of Abducts on Liberators, a lot of Blinding Clouds on tanks, and suddenly Stephano's army is a lot more scary, as souL hasn't invested into Ghosts, he hasn't invested into, say, Vikings or anything else in order to counter these Vipers. So, when the fight does happen, souL's going to need some fantastic splits. I think he's going to need to be on the defensive, but he is pushing out now. And I mean, he could possibly hit before the Vipers have a lot of energy. Stephano eating his Evo chambers there, but souL maybe going to try and make something happen before that. And he is pre-split very well right now. Baiting Stephano in there. Taking a good trade. Now, souL going for a drop as well, picking off the base on the left. We're going to try to, at least. Stephano's forced to react to that, and souL's maybe going to try and push forward, picking off some spores. I mean, it's tough to call what's going to happen in this game. These guys are both being so passive, it's a little bit odd. I guess it's just a stylistic choice on a map like this. But souL doing a good job with the harassment. I mean, that Liberator didn't get too much done, but picking off a base to the left, picking off a base to the right. But now here comes Stephano. He's got these Vipers. A lot of Abducts going down. souL's kiting back though, and there wasn't too many Banelings, so I think souL's going to hold on right now, eating a lot of that army. Stephano just didn't have quite enough. I mean, a lot of Ling reinforcements just came in, but they weren't with the army there. Now souL, he's seen the Vipers. He's going to start making Ghosts, or a Ghost for starters. We'll see if there's going to be a nuke on the way. Not just yet, but I'm hoping we'll see a nuke this game, but for now it looks like it's just the one Ghost. I mean, souL is pretty maxed out, so he does have to trade off some supply. Does pick off a Viper there with his Marines, and actually gets the base. Very nicely done, but I mean, these guys still are just trading, so it could come down to one big fight. Stephano abducting a lot of units, picking off all these tanks. souL's got some reinforcements coming in, but it looks like that Stephano will be able to clear this now. souL's going to be forced to retreat. Now, he's actually got a tank rallying forward, so that's a bit of a bad day for that siege tank, but both those guys traded out a lot of army. Stephano actually lost a few more resources there. But now he's going to have a very scary army once he remaxes. Hydras have a lot of utility in this matchup. And souL's just remaxing on Marines instantly enough. I mean, these guys, they're both sort of playing it a bit odd. I mean, Stephano, he took that fight, but he didn't seem to want to push the issue any further. And now he's just busy dealing with this counterattack for souL. This one medivac. souL has been continuous with these drops. Gonna get out there, actually. But souL's just remaxing on Marines and tanks. This is an interesting game. He's got the one hero ghost, maybe gonna land an EMP on those Vipers if the time comes, but this base in the bottom left will go down. Some Banelings crash into it. Hydras finish it off. So souL's remaxing, and he's pretty much remaxed. Stephano's economy isn't the best. I mean, souL's done a good job harassing so far, and Stephano doesn't have quite as many bases. Still, it's a relatively even game, though. I mean, I would give it to souL for now, but I mean, he still is on the tank marine heavily, so anything can happen, and it looks like this army is actually going to get caught out here, which is pretty unfortunate for souL. Every resource matters in a game like this. He tries to get a Viper but doesn't succeed, so suddenly Stephano's army is looking very scary, as he is maxed out now, and I mean, just Marines, they're very good, but I don't know if they're good enough to warrant sticking on them for so long. Just, I mean, Terran always has a place for Marines. And look at this. souL's taken... Is this Stephano's base? I mean, you usually think that your opponent would take this base and you'd take the one on the left. But souL, he's taken the one to the north. Planetaries are very good defensively, so why not take it? And now it looks like he may use this as a staging point to hit Stephano. Stephano may not give him the time of day, though. He looks rather ready to go in. And looks like a big counterattack for Stephano is going to be moving in. This third base, I mean, there's the planetary, though. Lings takes about 1 billion of them to fight a planetary fortress. The bunker will go down from the looks of it, but the planetary, I think, will have no issue cleaning this up. But the Hydras, on the other hand, there's a siege tank. That's going to get set up, but souL still manages to defend there. He's going for Liberator harassment. Once again, souL's done a fantastic job keeping the economy of Stephano down. And Stephano, he's got a decent bank, but he's on 49 workers. And as this Liberator picks off more, that number's going to drop. He's losing another base. I mean, guys, souL is being relentless with his harassment here. Moving forward, I mean, Stephano losing that base to the right. It's tough to criticize losing a base, as these guys are so even in this game, and as long as they are maxed out and have a bank, it's tough to say, like, oh, that was horrible damage. So souL gonna lose a few units here, losing a medivac. Those aren't exactly cheap. Stephano's got the Vipers, gonna abduct the tank. Viper for a tank. I think that's slightly better for the Terran. Vipers are 200. I don't know. I'm probably wrong with that. I believe Vipers are more expensive than a siege tank. And if this does come down to a game of efficiency, it's going to be interesting. I mean, souL currently in the lead, but, I mean, not by a massive margin, like literally 1.5k resources, which is a drop in the bucket in this entire game. souL going to lose a few medivacs, I believe gets a snipe off on the Vipers, but Stephano decides it may be time to go for this, but Stephano getting some very nice abducts. souL's stimming forward, but I don't think he can stim forward. He's still on so many Marines. Like, this is just a big old blob of Marines. At the 23-minute mark game in this game. A lot of tanks, though. souL's getting cloak for his ghosts now, so they won't be able to be abducted, but he hasn't made any more ghosts just yet. He's on 78 Marines. It looks like this orbital will go down the tank, taking a shot or two, but ultimately Stephano will pick off this base, so souL's really going to be investing into the right side here. He's got his defensive planetaries all over the map. Now, souL's got a very large mineral bank. I wouldn't mind seeing him throw up another orbital commander too. I mean, you've got the resources, and this is part of the reason why that I guess he can keep investing in a lot of Marines. He's got so many minerals. But if we look at the game right now, I mean, Stephano's got a good income, but he's actually not mining any gas right now. If we look at the income, it's literally just got to be Zerglings on the table for Stephano at this point. Now, he is going for a fight. This is a large number of Hydras. There's not too many tanks here, but souL will be able to fall back to the planetary fortress. Fantastic abduct and blinding clouds going down, though, so Stephano pushing in right now. He's going to abduct the tank of souL, and I mean, he's killed off a good number this game. 25 tanks have gone down, a lot of them due to the abducts. These guys just having a tough time pushing in, and that's the Cerulean fall effect. I mean, when your opponent has a lot of bases set up, it's tough to go further in. These two Marines trying to pick off this base. Now, I mean, for now, these guys are in a very, very comfortable position, each of them. They're both very comfortable sitting back and not going for a killing move just yet. But eventually it will come down to the point in which they do start to mine out all of their bases, all of their close bases, like the 4ths and 5ths. That's when they'll start getting really more focused on taking these outer bases, on taking really decisive fights. For now, though, they're both playing it pretty passive, and Stephano staying on this Hydraling Bane is rather interesting. Not going for Ultras, not going for Broodlords, anything like that. Now, Banelings and Hydras rolling forward for Stephano. Gonna try and clean up this. He does lose a base, but he does pick off a Medivac, so a bit of a consolation prize there. And now he's pushing in once again versus his opponent. Now, this isn't his full army. He's got a few units off and away, but souL still just got a lot of Marines, a lot of tanks. And that's why this game can go either way. It may be time for Stephano to try and crack this base, and it's relatively undefended. He's gonna go for it. He's crashing in. There's a lot of tanks. Abducts coming in, picking off these tanks, picking off those other units, and now he's gonna try and break this PF, which he'll have no trouble doing whatsoever. I mean, souL has that +2 armor, but this is a big Zerg army. You need more than that to defend a planetary. Now, the Vipers for Stephano, I'd like to see him throw down a Blinding Cloud on the planetary, maybe be a bit more aggressive with them, but for now he's cleaning bases, but souL's also returning the favor, and now he's picking off a lot of drones, picking off some of the very critical mining bases for Stephano, so both these guys taking massive blows here. But I would say that souL's in a slightly better situation, unless Stephano can really defend this base in the top left. I mean, he's not really going to be mining at all. Once this goes down, the economy is rather bad for Stephano. I mean, he's traded, but he's stuck on this Lingbane Hydra, I think, a little bit too long. He likes his unique styles, but I think Stephano might have stuck on this one for too long. But if he can get a nice surround on this army, which he should be able to, the Vipers need to go in a little bit earlier, I think, this time around. Get some Blinding Clouds going down, shut down these tanks, take a very efficient fight. It looks like Stephano will do that. Baneling's rolling into tank, but everything does get cleaned up there. Vipers abducting a Medivac as it dies. I've never seen that one before. Now, drones long distance mining for Stephano, but his economy is not that good in souL. I mean, he's just got such a large mineral bank from dropping mules for days, and I think because of this, he should just be able to take out Stephano's army and win the game. I mean, they're even on army supply, so never count out someone with a good army, but I think souL does have this game from the looks of it, as he's building up on siege tanks, got some, he's now made more than one ghost right now, but he is going to hit this base, and this is pretty much the last mining base of Stephano. I mean, unless these Banelings get a miracle connection, but the creep isn't there. Stephano's being forced off, he's down on supply, the army of souL is just too much. We may even see some snipes go down. Now, souL's moving forward, and I think this is pretty much going to be the end of Stephano. He's gone in for a counterattack. I mean, the defensive planetary was cleaned up, but souL with a very good rally here, going to be able to clean everything up. Drops have been going all over the map for souL. He's just been absolutely relentless, and I mean, just shutting down what was going to be the next base for Stephano. Looks like he will save the base, but Stephano's still in a very rough situation, down to 22 drones. He just hadn't been replacing them. He picks off another base, though, so Stephano's done a good job being aggressive this game. souL's economy isn't too good, but I mean, he's still got a few pretty fresh bases, as he wasn't quickly mining them out, so his economy is much better than that of his Zerg counterpart. Looks like a few units will get picked off. souL trying to go for the drops once again, but not getting anything too major. A base being denied, so Stephano's just continuing on with these attacks again and again. Now, he's going to go in with these lings. The planetary will finish up just in time, though. And they will get cleaned up. Stephano, I mean, these guys have been pretty passive, so there's a chance if he stays back long enough that he'll be able to, say, get a better army, but the fact that he never committed to other units means I think that really his one chance here is for souL to move out and Stephano to take a very good fight. And I mean, souL's moving out. His army isn't too terrifying. Some good Blinding Clouds, some good Abducts maybe, and Stephano could take this. I think Stephano needs to make one big ball of Banelings, get some more Zerglings out, any that he can afford, and then go for it versus this army. I mean, souL's army is looking pretty scary at this point, though. souL making 6 SCVs at a time, remaxing on those. Now, Now Stephano moving in, but there's 2 bunkers there. There's a tank, there's a planetary, so he's not going to be able to break that. Now souL's starting to inch forward to pretty much the lifeline of Stephano. That's this base. Now he may be able to get some good abducts there, but some massive EMPs going down on the Vipers, and that's pretty much all the Vipers going down. Snipes adding insult to injury. Now there's like a baneling, so I don't think Stephano is going to have enough. souL going to close in on this base. A good surround for Stephano on these Marines. souL maybe getting a little bit too gung-ho, but Snipes going down, picking off what remains of the Vipers, and now it's just in a head-on fight. Stephano's army does not win out here. souL secures this base as well, and the army supply is going down for Stephano. Alrighty, so Hydra's taken the engagement, but it looks like that this will be the end for Stephano. I mean, he's abandoning this base. Stephano, a guy, he does like to hang in games a little bit longer, but souL, I think, just is too much in this situation. He's going to start building up his bank again. This one egg taking a fair bit of abuse. Stephano actually getting souL as he was focused on that egg. He's going to be going for a fight, but I don't think he's going to have enough transfuses even helping out, but there's just so many tanks here for souL. A little bit of run by here and there, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Alrighty, so Stephano going in for a counterattack once again. He's going to be working away on this planetary. The Vipers do use blinding clouds on this. He abducts, so the planetary not going to fight back. He may be able to pick this off, but his army supply is still half that of souL's. souL repairing. Now the planetary going to stand up and fight Stephano, focusing down some of the SCVs, but souL picking off all the bases for Stephano. At least Stephano can have the victory of killing this planetary, but it's just going to be too much for souL, as he's now moving towards the throat of Stephano. The Ling run-by is moving in, gonna deny the mining for souL, but I mean, it's a little bit too little too late. I mean, even though that this game has been pretty sealed for a while, it really does show that these guys are playing at a very high level. I mean, if we look at this, souL, he was constantly dropping that entire game. Stephano constantly going for Ling run-bys. But in the end, souL does win out. I mean, he really secured those bases. Both these guys played it a little bit interesting today, but yeah, regardless, guys, I hope you enjoyed the cast. Feel free to leave a like. Feel free to subscribe. Almost at that 900 mark. Can almost touch it at this point. But yeah, and also if you enjoy watching souL play, he's going to be playing in a Freaker World Sunday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. He's going to be playing guys versus like Euthermal, Laser, Petit Drogo. We'll see if he's going to be able to do it, as he's won a few of those tournaments. So we'll see if he can do another one. Thanks for watching, guys. I shall see you next time.